right. Well, good evening, everyone. We'll get started then. This is the February Delta Club Board of Directors meeting. Ty is not able to make it, so in lieu of Ty being here, I will take and run and conduct business as the vice president. A couple of things off the table real quick. Wanted to introduce everybody to Matthew Ryan, W2MJR. It is Ty's desire to appoint Matt as the PIO officer for the club to fill that open appointed position. So we'll start off just Matt, excuse me,
You just keep doing what you
has joined us. So with that, I'll open up to the board real quick. Any discussion around that appointment, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve that appointment.
Being a PIO, have you taken the ARRL PIO?
I have not taken the ARRL's course. However, I'm extremely familiar with social media, with doing similar tasks for clubs previously that I've been a member of, as well as EMS organizations that I've been a member of.
Any other additional questions from the board?
What all does that entail, Joe?
The PIO position, let me pull that information. I did have that handy on my
I'm
phone
sorry,
for
I
just
was
a
asking
second.
Joe Lowenthal what all that course was about, if he knew.
It's being a PIO and how to be a PIO.
So just Perry, to your point, or just as an additional point of clarification, our club's definition of a PIO is that he shall maintain or she shall maintain the accurate and permanent record of their activities, and at the completion of their turn over all materials and information to the incoming PIO in a timely manner. So that's the definition that our club has for a PIO. Responsible for generating publicity and recognition for all DARC functions and activities. Pretty straightforward. There's not there's not a mention of an ARRL course requirement, although that would not be a bad thing, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I think that would be a good thing.
Well, I would say that could probably be completed after the office has been appointed and filled, and that's going to be something that, Matt, would you be agreeable to filling out and finding that course and taking that coursework?
If necessary, absolutely.
All right. With that being said, is there any opposition? May I hear a motion to approve Matt's nomination as PIO?
I'll move.
I hear a nomination by Joe, WA4OVO, to approve the nomination of Matt Ryan, W2MJR, as the PIO for the club. Do I have a second, please?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, that's seconded by Jim, KD4FUU. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion carries with unanimous approval. Welcome aboard, Matt.
Thank you for your trust. I promise I'll fulfill your expectations. And if Mr. Lowenthal can direct me to the proper links and contacts, I'll start arranging that, completing that expectation.
Okay, it's on. Go on ARRL and on the search engine, do PIO, and I'm
Yes, sir.
sure it'll bring it up.
Yes, sir.
But I'll look at it afterwards and send it to you.
And if you can provide me with all the relevant training dates and testing dates and everything, so I can get started with putting that stuff out on social media and so forth, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
So,
All right. Moving to a couple of additional items real quick that I'd like to get knocked out. Ty had a couple of other things that he wanted to move through. We'll get to those when he gets to his material. This was the kind of the round table format that we were working with. Just the order he would open up the presentation, talk about a couple of things. So I've got a couple of talking points that he has asked me to carry forward for him. And then I'll move into my report and business, and then we'll just move around the circle here as everybody has a report. Any questions regarding that kind of preliminary agenda? All right. The next item that Ty kind of, and I happen to agree with it, we wanted to get done. We talked about it in January. This is a follow-up item from the January meeting, was to get a couple of committees formed and appointed, and basically get the board's kind of approval to say, yes, we're good with those committees being formed. And then Ty has some people that are wanting to step into those committees, as well as others that have expressed interest in them. So the first committee that is wanting to be asked to be formed is a technology committee. And that technology committee has, let me apologize. I'm getting my notes pulled up. That technology committee's role is really to look at technology for the club, examine the equipment and hardware that we have for our technology that we're delivering via repeaters, document what's out and available out there, create documentation if none exist, create a plan for future technologies the club might want to be looking at, and just settings and configurations as well. That's the technology committee. It's a broad group of people that are interested in radio and technology and how the hobby is in general. They're interested in providing services that are in their background, from site layout, documentation, RF engineering, etc., to help with documenting the technology the club is using. So that is the technology committee as it would like to be instantiated. Are there any questions that I can try to answer around that?
Well, I'm kind of trying to hold my tongue a little bit here, but
Yeah,
I mean, what the hell? I mean,
exactly.
what are you trying to make this into?
Exactly.
I mean, this is a club that nobody gets paid for. Everybody volunteers. And we have always had a great time doing this. And what the hell?
Okay, what is the problem then with having a committee of people that want
what's
to?
your problem with what's going on now, huh?
Barry, I am trying to be to fill in the role of our president, who is unable to be at the meeting.
Okay.
So I am presenting information that has been presented to me. I'm trying to advance a committee that doesn't impact you or hurt you.
I'm not
I don't
worried
see
about
how
that.
that's a problem. I'm
That
sorry.
is not my problem. I'm just trying to do good for the club. And if I have a problem with it, I'll let you know. But I mean, what you're describing is committees and corporations and all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is a club, dude. Come on.
It is a
Who's
club.
proposed on the club?
I'm very sorry that you're the one that's getting hit with this, but same thing. Sorry.
Who's on this committee?
I don't actually have the list of members that have stepped forward to be on the committee. I know that there is a half a dozen members that have stepped forward and expressed interest to be in this committee to help with this process for the club. And that's their way of wanting to serve the club and be involved in and active in the club. But I apologize, Joe. I don't have that list of members in front of me at this time.
Hey, I'm
I-
always welcome for people to help me out and join in what I do, but I don't have that many. I have a few, but not that many. And remember, this is volunteer. This is not a corporation.
I understand that. And these are people that are volunteering to do a technology committee. This is not a repeater committee. This is a technology committee. This is to look
Same
at
thing.
technology as a
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. There is a definite difference between the repeater committee and the technology committee. The repeater committee is a special committee that's required. The technology committee is a different committee that is that Ty wants to get served and stood up to let these people do what they want to do to enjoy being a part of the club. They want to explore different technologies, whether that's packet repeaters or digipeaters or APRS or Fusion or D-Star or DMR or whatever
There
it may
we
be.
go. Now
And-
we're
and-
getting into
and-
it.
and-
Now we're getting into
And
it.
come and Barry, it's about that they want to explore how the technology that is in our hobby of ham radio can be explored by the club. And they're not going to have any ability to do anything. They just want to be a group of people that can go explore some things and come back to the board and say, hey, we think this is interesting. This is what we've discovered. What do y'all think about it? We'd like to talk to you about it. That's really all that we're really wanting that group of people to be able to do. I don't
Okay.
see that that's a major issue.
No, knock yourself out. Here we go. Remember, I own the license for the club. No, I don't own it. I represent it. So
I
I'm
understand
just
you're the
saying,
trustee at this time.
yes, I am.
I-
And anytime I can be removed from it. Okay? No problem. Good luck.
I wasn't saying that either. I was just saying, yes, you are the trustee. And this technology committee has no desire, my understanding, has no desire to threaten the trustee or anything about the trustee. I would anticipate that they may want to work with you, but that's not their primary goal. That's not what they've expressed as their goal.
Okay, so you got behind the scene committees doing all this stuff?
Well, behind the scene committees, they're not behind the scenes. They're in the forefront. They're in a way for the membership to be involved in in activities and assist the board if they want them to, but they're not doing anything without the board's approval. They're a committee.
Okay,
They have no ability to do anything without the board's approval.
okay. I'm just expressing my concerns.
I understand that and very much appreciate that. And that's what we do as a group of board members is we discuss the topics and try to round table the pros and cons of them and decide and make a decision. But we support that.
I haven't seen a lot of that lately, though.
Yeah.
With this administration.
Bingo.
Hey, I'm just trying to run the meeting tonight. Hey,
I'm very sorry you got tied up into this, but it's building up. It's only been 1 month and this is what it's come to. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm fulfilling my obligations as the vice president to stand instead
Sure.
of the president if the president's not able to come.
No, I appreciate that.
I don't want to the club needs to get some business done. We've got some things that we've got to address. So Barry, I appreciate your comment there, but
Sure.
I'm just going to set that to
I'm
the
sorry.
side.
Yeah, I'm done. So go ahead. Sorry, man.
It's okay. Anyway, the technology committee is something that's Ty has asked if we could, as a board, approve that committee. He could, I believe, I'm not sure, I don't know, but he's asking for the board's blessing on that committee. Is there a motion to approve this forming of the
Hey, Joe,
technology
can I ask
commission?
one question, please?
Absolutely, Mike.
So, what's the length of the committee? Do we have to agree on that, or, when we do appoint a committee, do we set like a duration of it, or?
I believe that the committee is the duration of the president that is asking it to be instantiated. But I'm not a bylaws expert, but I think that's what it is. So whatever the term of the president, or whenever the president asks for it to be dissolved.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So is the president leading this committee then?
No, the committee would have my understanding is the committee would have a committee chair, but the president, I did read that up in the bylaws just to make sure I was on top of that. The president is an ex officio member of all committees, so he would be a part of it.
Okay.
But the committee would have its own leadership and its own committee chairman, so to speak.
Okay.
Why
So
don't we hear who's on that committee and bring it back next month?
Well, that's fine, but I would like to say, if we're going to do that, can we at least say that the committee has formed so that the committee can form and report back to the board, here's who's on the committee.
I don't know about that.
I'd like to know who's on the committee before I.
If we have concerns about the members or concerns about the unknown, I think it's just best that we just wait until next month or whenever, we can meet with Ty.
All right, so is there a motion to table the forming of the technology committee?
Also move.
I second.
Joe, WA4OBO, and Barry moves to table the formation of the tech committee. All in favor of tabling the formation of the tech committee, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries as tabling the formation of the technology committee. All right, there was one other committee that Ty wanted to form, and that was a business committee, and that business committee was to be formed to assist the treasurer and give him some helping hands to assist with anything that he might need to fulfill any legwork or questions that he has. I don't know who had stepped forward or asked to be a member of those committees, but that was also a committee that was wanting to be formed as well. Is there any discussion around that, or shall the previous discussion stand?
Is the treasurer asking for help?
No, I didn't ask.
Jim? Okay. So Jim answered that.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, we'll move on from that. We'll withdraw that until a further date.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry.
No, I just said okay. I was just acknowledging.
Sure, I'm not getting anything.
I'm sorry.
So a couple of things.
Am I lagging, and is my video lagging, or my audio not synced with my mouth? Or I just noticed that. Okay, I just noticed that our vice president is.
No, you're still
was going that way, so I wasn't sure if it was on my end or Joe's end.
Both of you look
What
fine
was that,
here.
Jim? I'm sorry.
Okay.
What was that, Jim? I'm sorry. Am I lagging?
I thought you were, but it may just be my connection. I just wanted to make sure that when it came my time to speak, if I didn't want it to be an issue.
Right. A couple of things. Ty wanted to report that we do have our Google Workspaces up and active. I have done and worked in conjunction with Ty on Ham Club Online. We are ready to kind of do a soft launch of that. Wanted to talk to the board a little bit about that. It does have some great features. It has the ability for online payments directly via PayPal. It has the ability to do online attendance. It has a 30, 60, 90-day drip to remind and renew members of their renewals. It has the ability to bulk send emails for newsletter sending out and file those as well. I don't know that I'm going to take to the board tonight and present that we launch it just yet, because I do feel that we do want to demo that. So I think what we'll do on that is I would like to demo that for everybody. I've put quite a bit of time into that. Demo that for everybody at the March meeting, or maybe at the March board meeting, and then seek approval at that time. I just wanted to report back on the progress of that. It has been significant. I do feel that it's good, and the price is right for that. It is a free platform, although the developer of the platform does encourage and ask for, if you're capable, to make a small donation for his time. He develops it on the side. He is a ham that has developed it. One new action item that Ty had, Jim, I believe he had talked to you about. There was a set of Google Sheet forms that he had approached you that had a cost of less than $90 to basically help you or assist you in creating some standardized reports. I'm just reading from his slide here. I don't know if that's something that you are still interested in or not. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if that is something that you are still wanting to pursue, I would entertain an option from the board here to approve that we approve that purchase.
Let's hold off on that. I have not had a chance to review that yet. Sorry, I kind of put that on the back burner while I was working on some other stuff. So if we could wait till next month to make a decision on that, I'll put that back on my plate to look at. See if it's something that would be valuable to us.
All right. One of the last item that Ty had on his side was to talk about the newsletter and to talk through kind of having content that was not 4 or 5 months old in on the newsletter. That was his last action item on 6B. So I'll just present that and we can roundtable that discussion.
I have been keeping, a lot of that stuff in the newsletter because, I felt like it was like a place where the members can go to for some of that go-to information, so that it was kind of out there in front of them. So that's why, like where to go get to print your license and, things like that. I had kept those in there. Some of the things that were kind of neat about, how to locate other hams, in your area and things like that. That's why that I have left them in there. So, if we feel that's not a benefit, then, we can take them out. But, that has always been, the way I have looked at it. So. Any discussion?
Yeah,
Also, the
I like the
areas,
job you've been doing, Mike.
Thank you.
same here, Mike.
I'd also plan some of that stuff going out on social media, reminders and available resources, both as filler when we don't have events and classes, as well as, to help the new hands that join the club for what it's worth.
Well, but it keeps a historical record going for
Absolutely.
people to go back. We've got email, the Sparks back to 1990.
Absolutely. I'm just saying in addition. So it will
Yeah.
be somewhere else also.
The statement that I would put on, just as an aside, I don't know that we have to have a 6-month historical record of information that hasn't changed in 6 months. I think maybe a month or two is a historical record, is a balance. I think there's a balance to how long we keep information in Sparks. I don't know that it needs to run unchanged for 6 months straight, but a month or 2 or 3 probably is a balance. I think that's a fair balance. Is that something that could be agreed upon?
I think the training, there should be at least one extra, one general, and one tech class maintained on it to show new people what the classes are that we are giving, and how they proceed and all of that. And that can go for more than 6 months. Because extra will go for basically a year until the next extra class.
What does he want to take out? Can
I mean,
give
if
us
you go
some
back
examples?
if you go back and look through the previous Sparks, there is a lot of content that is repeated over and over and over again. A lot of the training content's repeated over and over again. And now there's a rationale behind that, so that may be valid or not. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. There's a lot of the content at the end about that's just repeated over and over again. Some of that content could be, out of fairness, could be potentially moved to our website, like how to get your FCC license, how to get some other things. I think the goal was to just create a Sparks that doesn't have a lot of older repeated information. I think that was the goal. Like I said, just looking at the last item there that was on the deck, wanted to talk about it, have an open discussion about it. We can certainly circle back around to it and address it next month.
Okay.
So let's jump into membership. Did want to take a minute. The January signal report from the meeting, I had 19 people of the 50 people that signed in on the sign-in sheet responded. That was a 94% 4 or 5 satisfied. 100% said that it was irrelevant to the hobby. And the graphs are on the right-hand side of the slide, if you can see those. The article in Sparks reminding people to bring their renewals to the meeting seemed to have gone over really well. Not having any historical background on that, based on Perry's report, it looks like we gained quite a few membership renewals at the January meeting. So pleased with that our membership renewals are going up. I do have a slide that I want to show as a separate view real quick in a minute to talk about membership. I plan on taking the signal report for the February members meeting and doing the same very similar signal report. It was a 4-question response asking the members. They had a QR code on the tables, very same thing, 1 through 5 rate it, anonymous or call sign, and then any other just a real quick rating on the activities. So the welcome activity, and then the 3 meetings, the 3 sections of the meeting that we're going to have. Any questions or observations around the signal report?
I have one comment about all of this, and that is, why are you making this more like a corporation instead of a bunch of fun? This is supposed to be fun. I mean, we don't need all statistics and all this stuff. Who cares? This is fun. It's why we do it. No one's getting paid for
I
any
understand.
of this. I'm
Okay.
sorry. It's just my opinion.
Okay, did I take any of your time, Barry? I did not take any of your time to put together the survey. I didn't ask you to spend any of your time. You could choose to not spend any time. That time that we get feedback from our membership helps us as a leadership organization target what our members are really wanting to do to have fun. That's
I'm
our
just giving you
perspective
an
on it, Barry.
opinion. That's all.
I
Just an
understand.
opinion.
I understand that, and I appreciate that. And I'm not invalidating or saying that you shouldn't give us your opinion, but to me, it's helpful to have feedback about what our membership thinks about how we're doing at our meetings and what they're interested in. Because I'll be honest with you, we can't go talk to every last one of them at every meeting. So this gives them
We can
a
have
way
fun.
to.
We can have fun,
We
and
sure
that's what
can.
this is supposed to be about.
And absolutely. And the board works hard to make sure that our membership has fun. We work hard so that our members have fun. So I hear you. I'm not invalidating what you're saying, but to me, spending a little bit of time to create a survey and getting feedback from our membership is fun for me because it helps me say, yeah, that's what our membership wanted.
Okay, where I'm coming from, I'm retired. I got away from all this garbage. Okay, I just want to have fun, and a lot of these other people do. I may be in the minority on that, but just my opinion.
Okay, I understand that. I appreciate that. And I want to have fun with it as well too. I want to advance my hobby because this is my hobby. I enjoy it. I love it. And I want to have fun with it. That's what I'm here for. But I also want to and feel highly responsible to our membership to listen to what they want to do to say that they have fun. That's how I look at it. That's my perspective on it is I want to be able to listen to our membership and do what they want to do to have fun. Because it's not always about what I want to do to have fun if it's what the membership wants. That's my perspective, Barry, just to give you my perspective.
I've always thought the same thing, just not with a bunch of corporate crap.
I'm
sorry. That's
fair enough.
I went away from all that stuff when I retired, so that's why I have this opinion.
All right. One of the things that I did want to talk about real quick, and I'll bounce around for just a minute as in the membership section, and I'll be cognizant of it's 7:10, and we need to move through the rest of these, so I'm going to move pretty quickly on a couple other things. We're +2 on new members for the year, a total of 3, if I have counted the information correct. We gained 1 in January and 2 for this board report that we'll get to in a minute, and then we got a bunch of renewals. New members are a good thing for our organization. I'll pop this open. I wanted to talk about this for just a minute. I did some digging in the membership report spreadsheet. This is not the current version that Perry just sent out. This is an older version from December. It was I didn't have his current one. But what I did was I trended and plotted our membership, new members, and total members all the way back to 2016. And I also went through and broke out the difference between a new member and a renewing member so that I could look at how many new members we picked up for the year and how many renewing members we had for the year. Now, I really was tracking this because as a past president of the Memphis Junior Chamber of Commerce, one of the things that we focused on strongly was membership. And one of the ways that we tracked membership was renewals. How much did we engage our membership to the point that they wanted to renew with us and stay with us year over year? So I went back and tracked our new members all the way back to 17. And in 17, we had 30 members. 18 we had 38, and 19 we had 36, 2020 we had 29, 2021 we had 21, 2022 we had 19, and in 2023 we had 23. I then went back and tracked that renewal, how many of them renewed, just to create a percentage. So from 17 to 18, we had 27 out of 30 renewals. From 18 to 19, we had 16 out of 38 renewals. 10 out of 36 in 2020, 10 out of 29 in 21, 9 out of 21 in 22. And then for 23, we had 13 out of 19, a good renewal year. Really that points to that, and granted, COVID kicked us in the membership in 2020, 21. It impacted that. So acknowledging that before anyone mentions that. All of this to say, just wanted to point out that new members are the lifeblood of our organization. Our membership tracks as an organization, we track and need to track about 20 to 30 new members to bring in and replace membership that do not renew in the current calendar year. So with that being said, that's one of the reasons that I was hoping that we'll take the opportunity to reach out to our friends, neighbors, other licensees and say, hey, come join our club. If you haven't joined Delta Club, can you come to one of our meetings and join our club? That's all of that I really wanted to say, is to engage and bring new members to the club. That's the end of my report. We'll move into Treasurer's report at this time. Jim?
All right. Can I present my screen?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, I think somebody has to approve my screen sharing. I get a host disabled participant.
It's in security, Joe.
I apologize. Thank you. That is all. There we go. Should be set now, Jim.
Okay, very good. Okay. All right. So this is the report that I had mailed out to the board earlier today. So for the month of January, we started the month with $21,064.18. We had $694 in deposits. It was primarily membership and some donation from members. We had a $5 withdrawal, and I'll explain that here in a moment. And then I had 6 checks that were written from the account for a total of $1,276.89, which brought us to an ending balance at the end of January of $20,476.29. So I made 2 deposits at the end of January. These were the 2 deposits that I made, which were, like I said, those were the membership. But let me address this $5 real quick. We had a $5 deposit that was made at the end of December from the ARRL for a commission, and that was returned. So I will reach out to ARRL and see if they want to send a new check, or if I can attempt to run, put it through again to our account. I do have a like a copy of the check that the bank sent me, so I can try to do that. Going back up here, let's see. Okay, so then here are these 6 checks, and I'll go through all this here. All right. Yeah, I hope you guys don't mind. I did rearrange this to have my little spreadsheet here right after the statement. So we had, as you mentioned, Joe, we had two new members, two new individual members at the January meeting they paid their $20 each. So we have $40 there. We had 27 individual renewals, which the total is $540. And then we had 3 family renewals of $75. We had 1 donation that was received with membership renewal, and that was a total of $39, which brought us to $694. So that matched up with the $694 in deposits here. We had no other deposits from club commissions. Here's that $5 that was withdrawn, but we'll get that back. And then here are the 6 checks that were written. So we had a $100 donation to the seminary, and that was, I guess, presented at the December meeting, but I mailed a check after that, and it was deposited in January. Then I had paid for all of the prizes that were given at the November meeting, and that came to a total of $461.80. So I reimbursed myself for that. A few months back, I did have to order new checks for the club, and so I used the reorder form that we are from the original check order. So that was through Costco. So I had to use my Costco membership to pay for that. So I reimbursed myself the $43.42. Wrote a check to Mr. Lowenthal for $25, and that was to reimburse him for a ARRL student membership, and that was for Will, K24FUM. And
Correct.
yeah, so Joe had received that money, but then he deposited it, and so
Well, I had to use a credit card to pay to send ARRL.
right. So that was, I'm sorry, yeah. So then I had to I reimbursed Joe for that expense. Wrote a check to Scott Adams for reimbursement of club refreshments and the hams for the December meeting. So that was a total of $211.19. And then I had to use my credit card for the payment of our club equipment insurance and the liability insurance. So that was $200 for the liability and $235.38 for the equipment. So I wrote a check for $435.38. That a total of $1,276.79, and that matches up with the checks that were written here, $1,276.89. It did include the 2 CDs that we have, which are continuing to earn interest. One is going that we just renewed. That'll mature in January of 25, and then the other one is going to renew at the end of this year, or end of November. So, do you have any questions about the report for this month? All good?
Thank you, Jim.
All right. So
Thank
then the
you.
other item that we have is our proposed budget for 2024. And I know we had some discussion about this. Can you guys see this all right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here, I can make it bigger. So I didn't massage any of these numbers just yet, but I did have a few items that I wanted to ask about. and see if anybody had any thoughts or any concerns. All these numbers at the top are left the same. And so, and I don't know, do you want me to go through these line by line, or does anybody have any concern or anything that they see that, you know, stands out regarding what income we have?
I'm going to move that we table the budget until next month. I think we need to discuss the budget. And I don't want to have a very super long meeting. I do think there are some concerns around the budget, and I would just ask that we table the budget until next month.
Okay,
Bylaws said it should be published in February.
yeah,
Yes, sir. But if we've tabled the budget, it's not, then it's tabled, and we'll publish it in March. And we can publish that in Sparks as well, that it's pending approval. I think we need to table it and discuss it, and I think we need to have a small working session to discuss. I think the budget, I personally think that the budget needs a little bit more granularity, not a lot, but just a little bit more granularity to break out some of the things that are a little too broad, so that we have a little bit more visibility into what really is happening with the club funds.
all right.
So I would move that we table the budget.
So is there something that I should be working on to be prepared for this breakout session to ensure that you have the information necessary?
Sounds like,
For me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, nothing, go ahead.
For me, I'd like to see a little more understanding of the actual expenses in the past that have gone into these buckets that we're creating for the budget, and how the budget is based on the actual expenses that have been created in the past. That's my preference.
Okay, I did provide numbers here on these additional worksheets of all the sales that we've had, what the expenses were for the Huntsville bus trip, and then all the other, you know, checks that were written for expenses for various things within the club. I didn't know if you had seen that or not.
I had seen some of it. I had not seen all of it, but
Okay. All right. Well, do we need to have any kind of or any additional discussion about this, or need to have a motion or anything to table this?
well, I have put a motion on the table to table it.
Before we table it, I want, so the bylaws say that it has to be published in the February Spark. So does the bylaws, is there anything in there about, postponing it or anything, or do you have that information, Joe?
I do know that in the February issue of Sparks last year, the budget was not published. That doesn't make it right. Let me check. I did have a note on that, Mike. What will have to happen based on the bylaws is the membership is supposed to approve the budget. At the membership meeting, we'll have to table that vote and bring that vote back to the March meeting because it will have been tabled. Procedurally, that's what it looks like to me reading the bylaws. It's just procedurally, we'll have to say, The budget wasn't ready. We've tabled it. We'll bring it forward at the March meeting for the membership to approve it, but we'll have to table the approval in February.
It was in the February Sparks, the budget.
I don't, we've missed either last year or the year before, Joe. We've missed a year. I don't remember which year. I'm not going to take the time right now to
2023,
look,
it's in there. I'm looking at it right
okay.
now.
Okay, that's fine. But this year we're saying we want to table it, or I'm asking to table it. That's what I've asked the board to do, but the board may choose not to do that. We are a board, so that's my request, is to table the budget so that we can have a little bit more discussion around it and gain a little bit more, so I can feel a little more comfortable with it. But that's my request. Is there a second to table the budget?
Do we feel
Right.
that this so y'all have additional questions about what's been presented, essentially, Joe, and so that's what we're going to essentially. What are we going to tell the membership that our bylaws say to to publish it, but we didn't. So what are we going to tell the membership?
We're telling them, we would tell the membership, and I'll be glad to write because I'm the one asking for it at this point. I'll be glad to write the note saying, hey, we've asked that the board provide a little bit of additional understanding and visibility to some of the broad budget topics, and create a little bit more breakdown to them so that we can give the members that visibility and transparency to it. That's what I may. It may be.
Can it not be
quick and
amended
easy.
later on?
It could be amended later on.
I think that would
Are
probably be.
we doing this for the membership's benefit, or is this to fulfill somebody else's desire to dig into this deeper?
Well, it's for the membership ultimately. They're the ones that have to understand it and approve it.
Okay.
That's my understanding of what's supposed to happen.
Okay, I'm trying to understand where this is coming from, because this is the way it's been presented for years.
Yeah.
So
And we
I understand,
have
but
not
I
had
know that the
anybody
budget.
ask for this to be changed.
Okay, my first year, so I'm new to the game, right? According to what I was reading, this was supposed to have been presented in January.
I did.
The motion that I made to table it did not get a second, so that motion is not on the table at this point any further. Is there any additional motions around the budget?
I guess move to have it in Sparks for February Sparks.
Is there a second to the motion to approve the budget and publish it in Sparks as made by Joe, WA4VO?
I'll second it.
All right, seconded by
Are we-
Mike, KM4MWR, excuse me.
Are we publishing
all
as displayed on my screen earlier? Or as submitted?
Joe, you made the motion. Would you please clarify your motion?
Make the motion that we publish the budget as shown.
Okay. Next, sir.
Seconded by Mike. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. No, I oppose. So the motion carries. Jim, do you have any additional updates?
Can you go back to the slide deck?
Absolutely.
All right, so
Yes,
I
sir.
did presented the treasurer's report and the proposed budget, club budget. I did provide you with the PayPal API for inclusion of PayPal payments, possibly through the Ham Club online.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure what all is going on with that, but I did provide that information. Hopefully that's what you needed. We did talk about I'm sorry.
I said, yes, sir. That was, was going to augment that and say, yes, that did provide what we needed.
Okay.
And that does activate the ability to have online payments through PayPal with that.
Okay.
We'll come back to that as I had alluded to earlier, and we'll demo that in March go ahead.
Yeah. I would like to ask everybody to maybe think about this as to how we want to handle the additional fees that may come with taking online payments or payments through credit card using like Square or one of those types of services, as to how we are going to handle that, whether we're going to absorb that fee or if that's something we're going to have to tack on to addition, to the payments from members. So
do you have any ideas? I'm sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
No problem. I don't know what the cost is. I know we had looked at that a year or so ago, but it's been a while, so I don't know what that is. But I just wanted everybody to kind of think about how what would be the best way to handle that if we're going to try to just keep it straight across the board for everybody to pay the same amount, or if
I'm not sure,
pass that on to
Jim, but we'll have to explore that. But more
Oh yeah,
than
no,
likely,
I'm not asking
lot...
for I'm not asking for a decision. I just want people to think about that,
Yep.
because I think that's going to come up.
More than likely, that'll have to be some sort of type of convenience fee or something. But go ahead. Who was speaking? I apologize.
So it was me, Joe, Mike. Mary Jean and I had worked on this PayPal thing on the website in the past, and this is just my recollection, and it may be incorrect, but I thought that the fees were assessed. The fees and the percentage came out of the user's account at the time. It was kind of like tacked on, from my recollection. Am I incorrect?
I think you have to set the amount that somebody's going to pay. So
Okay.
if we're looking at $20 for a membership plus another $2 to cover the fees, then we would have to just list it as $22, and that's what they would choose for their payment. But looking at a lot of other clubs, I don't think anybody else, or I haven't come across another club in the few that I've looked at that have passed that fee along to folks. It's just kind of built in, and I don't want to say it's absorbed, but it's considered ahead of time. So I don't know if that means that we look at a different structure, a pay structure for individuals and family memberships. But,
well, we reduced our club membership from $30 to $20 about 2010.
Okay.
So that's one thing that was done, and we talked about having like 22 or 21 or $22 for a membership through PayPal back a year and a half ago.
Right.
And the membership fee may end up being $20, but a $3 convenience fee or something like that. That's how I've seen it done in a lot of organizations. There's a convenience fee that gets tacked on. I know that's how a lot of the scouting organizations that I work with do that. If you pay via credit card or PayPal or whatever, online, they tack on a convenience fee. So we'll just have to explore that. To your point, Jim.
Yeah,
we'll have to
I
explore
wasn't
that.
trying to get into a discussion about it now. I just wanted
Sure.
folks to think about it, so because it will be something we'll have to revisit in the future when we do roll
Absolutely.
out some type of um,
Yep.
payment system.
Additional items you might have?
New action items. We've got the to discuss the region's bank products. That's carryover from January, but I just wanted to point out that if we did have a debit card that we could use for paying for some of the things like our insurance and so forth, that would eliminate the checks that have to be written for reimbursement of certain items. So that is something that we would definitely benefit from. And then also, I was informed that Paul Broom, our former secretary, that he's a former CPA and that he's kindly offered to perform an audit of our financial records if we want to pursue that, and that I can reach out to Paul with our approval, the board approval, if that's something we want to.
All right.
Want to
Is
do.
there a motion? Is there a motion on the floor?
Jim, you're going to
Would
make
you
the
like to make a
motion?
motion, Jim?
I'm sure.
Jim,
I'll make a motion that I reach out to Paul to conduct a audit of our records, our financial records.
all right. So Jim KD4FUU has made a motion to reach out to Paul Broom, a former CPA, to audit the Delta Club's financial records. Is there a second?
Can we have this a little more discussion? I do have another question.
Sure.
Okay, what time period would we be defining for this audit to occur?
Like when will it take place, or
How far back are we going to audit?
Oh, okay. And I guess I would have to see what he's willing to, or how much time he's willing to put into it. If it's going to be, just over the past year to make sure that everything looks good, or if it's my entire tenure. So, which will be 4 years.
I would say probably 2 is sufficient, but that's just my thought. Mike, do you have a thought or a time period that you would wanted to put into
No,
consideration?
I was just wondering, I don't know what the standard is, and I wouldn't want to have a wide open scope on a project, like that.
Makes
So
sense.
I'd kind of like to, to give Paul some kind of expectation. I guess you could say that would be, that's my only, I'd like to scope it a little bit better, I think, if we're choosing to go down this path.
Totally fair. I would ask Jim, would you amend your motion to say 2 years, no more than 2 years?
Sure. I would amend my motion that we ask Paul Broom to look over the records up to the last 2 years, or up to the last 2 years. I guess it depends on what he's willing to do as well. But we'll
2022,
to-
2023.
I'm sorry.
I was saying 2022 and 2023.
Okay,
up to 2 years.
That's
If he only
agreeable.
wanted to do one, he could do up to 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I
Up
hear
to
a
2 years.
second to Jim's motion?
I'll second it.
All right, so that was in tandem with both Perry and Mike. I saw Perry raise his hand first. So there's a motion to reach out to Paul Broom, a former CPA, to go back to up to 2 years and review the financial records of our club, made by Jim and seconded by Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing no opposed, the motion does carry. So Jim, if you would reach out to Paul, we would very much appreciate that.
Will do.
That is very, very, very appreciated of Paul that he would offer to do that.
I agree.
Hey, Perry, you're up
Agreed.
next. Can we move to you?
All right, could I share my screen?
Absolutely. Should be, there you go.
All right, I'm not very good with Zoom. I don't know if anybody can see my screen or not.
Oh,
Not
God.
yet.
Big button down on the bottom that says share screen. Has a big, there you go.
All right. As Joe was saying earlier, we had a lot of applications come in for membership during the month of January. And this is just an alphabetical list of the new and renewal applications that we received. And I put the full name and call sign of everybody that submitted an application. I have the actual applications in my hand, and I just was going to see if anybody had any questions about any of these specific individuals and wanted more information about that, I could provide it.
I
Failing
just had
that, I
one
would,
real quick question.
yeah.
I saw that we had a couple of family renewals. Do you have an idea of which ones were family renewals?
Yeah.
Jeff Kraus, no, Jeff is life member.
Basically, if you look, Joe, just at the last names, you can see Dan and Janet are family.
Okay, got it.
You can see Barry and Deborah are a family.
Okay,
Etc. The Butlers are a family.
okay. That's
Just to
all
be
I needed. I just didn't.
simplistic, not trying to be too
Yeah.
simplistic, but that's
Nope.
the I kind of thought that might show us who the families are.
No worries. I
And
just wanted to connect the dots. That's all.
absolutely.
I would move that we approve the new members and renewal members as presented by Perry in the list that he has sent to the board and showing currently to the board on the screen.
Second.
Seconded by Barry. All right. So there's a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion that was requested or required? All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
I would-
opposed?
Sorry. I would just make a note to Perry regarding Damon. Just you might want to make a note. He is severely visually impaired. So you may want to keep that in mind when you send him anything or if the club sends him anything.
Big letters. All right, the motion carries. All the new members are approved and the renewals are also approved. Thank you, Perry. Any
Thank you, Jeff.
additional items?
Didn't really have anything. I did send out a proposed minutes for the last January club meeting. I did have a little bit of feedback, but if anybody sees any problems with that, feel free to contact me and I can make any additions or corrections that anybody feels are necessary. And that's really all I have, Joe.
I ran it through Grammarly. And
Perry.
it looks good.
Yes, sir, Mr. Prosecutor.
I was worried about some of the grammar, Jim, to be honest with you, but it's been a long time since I went to English class.
You did very well, sir.
Coming from you, that's high praise.
Thank you.
All right. John Reiners is on a cruise. He is continuing to work on program, and he sent a note that the February program is Ham Hillard on choosing coax. Dan WA4RHK will do on local HF comms. I think it's a 20-meter mag loop, if I remember correctly, but I'm not 100% sure. And then Rick Kenshat is going to do a program about the Hamcock and Avado appliance. So I'm looking forward to all of those. Those sound like really fun programs.
Is
If
Ham's
you've got any,
presentation going to be Ham 101, or is it one of the main presentations?
it'll be one of the main presentations, is my understanding.
Okay.
Jim,
Okay, thank you.
I'll try to answer any questions that you may have, but let me know. Shout them out. All right, moving right along. Joe, we're up for you.
Extra class, we've got, I think, 2 people have already passed the extra exam. We've got 1 more actual class and then testing on the, I've forgotten what date now. I guess we're coming up, this Saturday will be what, the 11th, and then testing on the 17th. Got a tech class. We got 13 people in the tech class. It's going to be a hybrid. The last 2 sessions, I'm trying to get the room availability, but it'll be starting on the 22nd of February for 5 Thursday nights from 6:15 to 9:30, and then the sixth class will be a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. to give a little more time for the presentations. And I had a conflict on the March 28th date that it would have fallen on. We got the battery for Free Fest for 170, and the vendor, which is Ham Source, donated 2 inline DC multimeters for Free Fest. We also have 2 tables at Free Fest for equipment sales. And then we do need to make sure we get the Zoom subscription renewed. I think it's in March or April. And I believe the ARRL Delta Club page has been revised. I'm not sure. That's just something that I try to make sure that it gets revised. That's not really a training issue, but it keeps in sync with ARRL, since we are an ARRL club. That's it.
I do believe that has been updated, Joe. I did run across that one day when I was looking for something else, so I do believe that has been updated. Any questions for Joe?
Thank you, Joe.
Scott?
I have nothing. It's going to be the norm, a little bit more snacks, but that's basically all I have for the club.
Okay. Matt, welcome to the crew. You haven't had a chance really to kind of fill anything out, but let us know what your thoughts are on your new position as a PIO officer.
Well,
that's redundant, PIO.
First and foremost, thank you for your trust. I do want to clarify one thing, and that is just that I volunteered. I approached Ty and requested to have the opportunity to do this. I just want to clarify that so everyone understands. Basically, my intent is to get us out there a little more on social media and build a better public-facing presence for the organization. Make it known more that we exist. We all know the problems that Mara has. We basically are the club in Memphis, and we need to leverage that. Joe, Mr. Lowenthal, you have a fantastic training program and testing program. We need to get that out there more to the individuals who either want to become hams or want to advance. The bylaws say the training director will provide all that to the PIO. I don't think Joe was going to have a problem with that. The more butts we can get in seats, the better for him, the better for the club. The reality is also that, as Joe Plunk has said, the membership has been going down. And let's face it, social media these days is one of the quickest ways, the biggest ways to get people to be aware of and join organizations. We also got to realize that we're slowly losing the greatest generation. So we need new members to come in so that all the Elmers, all that knowledge can not only be passed on, but so that, there's hope for future leadership of the club, future individuals who want to be involved in help in the positions that you're all in now and might be either unwilling or incapable of for health or whatever, or occupation or whatever. It's important to do that. So my biggest things are going to be getting news about the club out, event reminders and photos and events from coverage, including Joe's training and testing, renewal reminders, promote licensing multiple times a week, promote Joe's classes, Mr. Lowenthal's classes multiple times a week, insert some stuff about general ham radio interest, DX events and things that kind of get people's attention and say, well, yeah, that's really cool. I'd like to upgrade so I can get into that segment of the spectrum and be involved with that. And again, that goes to membership and licensing, and just overall fulfill the missions that the pillars that the club has, which of course, service, education, and fellowship. So just build the public facing, a better public facing image, and get some more notoriety for the club and to gain membership. And we have the best repeaters in the Mid-South. We have the biggest force as a club in the Mid-South because we basically are the Memphis club. Like I said, we all know the other clubs don't really meet so much anymore or don't have time. So let's get butts and seats for training and licensing and at meetings. And that's basically what I'm looking at. And Joe, I'll send you, Mr. Lowenthal, I'll send you an email to get all those dates for the class and testing that are coming up. WA4OVO @gmail.com, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Great.
I'll
Thank
send
you,
you an
Matt.
email. No worries. I'll send you an email as soon as we're done, and I look forward to working with you.
Okay.
Glad to
All right,
have
Matt,
you, Matt.
thank you much. All right, Mike, you're on deck next.
Sorry I didn't fill out my my form this month. It's been a pretty busy month. I apologize. I'll work to do that better next month. But I'm on track to have the Sparks out. It'll be my goal to have everything out within 24 hours of receiving the last report. So I'll do my best to have it out within 24 hours of whatever last information I receive. So that'll be my goal for this month.
All right, thank you much. I know I've got an article that I want to write and get over to you, so I'll get that over to you as soon as I can get it to you.
Super. Thank you so much. And, I did put out there in the Sparks last month about requesting articles. So I really haven't received any yet. So other than, the standard ones we normally get. So, and then I know that Mr. Joe had sent something over for me to update on the website. I'll work to get that updated before the meeting as well.
So what was the website update that you were working on? I'm just curious.
He wanted to update one of the pages. I can't remember which page it was. We keep some. I don't really remember what it was. Let me go.
It was referring to Allendale rather than
That's right.
Mid-America on a map.
Yeah.
On the homepage.
So yeah, I will. I'll do my best to get that updated well before the meeting.
Yeah, and the 23, just as an FYI, also the 2023 officers list that's on the past officers need to be added to that past officers list that's on the website.
Good point.
Exactly
I'll make a note of that.
And once
There's a document that has all of them.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, once I get the social media really rolling, would there be a possibility of adding the links to the social media to the website?
Absolutely.
All right. Yes, sir. My apologies for interrupting.
Yep, no problem. That's really all that I had.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Barry, do you have anything?
No, just been visiting the sites here. Went to the main site out at the 8-2 site. Checked everything out because I hadn't been out there in a little bit, and also went today to the Germantown site, and everything's fine. But other than that, I don't have anything going on, and trust me, I'll let you know when I talk to the treasurer when I need something. Because what I do is not cheap. So nothing is great.
Yep. No news is good news.
Bingo. So we're running good
All right.
right now.
All right.
If someone has a complaint.
Mary Jean sent in that she's working on scanning some of the old documents that she has a personal scanner that she's going to be using to scan some old documents for the club. And she's looking forward to being behind the scenes with the club. Covered some of the things that Ty had put in the deck. So that is the end of the list of business. Is there anything that needs to be brought out in an open discussion real quick? All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right, Mike. Mike has made a motion to adjourn. Joe Lowenthal has seconded the motion. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right. The club board meeting is adjourned at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Good night, everyone. Thank you
Thanks
for your
for-
time. Appreciate it a lot.
Have a good night.